Hello, everybody. My name is Bian Bourgeois. I am the director and founder of many organizations designed to help authors, specifically indie authors, succeed in marketing and selling their books. One of the organizations is called Texas Association of Authors. I also have Indie Beacon. We also have a bookstore designed specifically for indie authors called indielector.store. It's an online bookstore, and we're looking at building a physical location in various places around the country in a long-term project. Today's show is all about you not reinventing the wheel and asking questions that relate to publishing, marketing of one's book. I've done publishing as a publisher for 5 years. I got 60 books published, all different types of books, from children's art, fiction, nonfiction, all different types of things for people all around the world. And that moved me into this business, this industry that I do now, which is helping authors and also creating writing programs and reading programs and other activities. So thank you for being with us. We have a question. I believe not yet. I see we do have a guest. So if you do have a question, please type it in the Q&A and let me know so I can go ahead and answer your questions. In the meantime, I'll explain some other programs. With publishing, many people want to go to Amazon KDP Select. They think it's simple, easy, and it's Amazon. But unfortunately, what happens is that when they do that, they end up hurting themselves. And here's why. Most bookstores, and I'm talking about Barnes & Noble and all your independent bookstores and smaller chains, will not put a book on the bookshelf that is from Amazon, CreateSpace, KDP Select, whichever term you want to use. The reason is it's their competition. They don't want to make money for the competition. So they will do what's considered as a consignment from time to time, and it all depends on the author, what value they have to being at the store, to doing a book signing, and if the signing is done well, whether or not they will then take some of the books that they have and put them up on the shelf. But even then, most of the time, they will not reorder the books if it is from that category of Amazon. So the best thing to do is go to ingramspark.com. Which a lot of people don't realize, we're one of the original people to create print on demand and to get Amazon set up with CreateSpace and all that stuff. So all the formats you have for CreateSpace, KDP Select will work for Ingram Spark. Ingram Spark will get all your books into the databases for all the bookstores, including Amazon. So it's not like you're giving up Amazon to go to Ingram Spark. You're not losing anything. You're actually enhancing your profitability and your book sales ability by going to Ingram Spark. I wish there was competition for Ingram Spark, because with competition means lower prices, better customer service, things of that nature. But unfortunately, Ingram Spark, which is Ingram, which is also Lightning Source, they have the monopoly on print on demand at this point in time. So you're stuck with them versus KDP. But in the long run, like I said, you do get more opportunities to sell your book, because Ingram Spark, Lightning Source, has printing facilities around the world in a lot of different countries. So you don't have to worry about somebody in Australia ordering your book and you having to ship it to them, paying the excess, the extra shipping and all that, because they have a print location there. So that is your best bet as far as sales and distribution to foreign countries. This includes certain Asian countries, European, Canada, South America, pretty much anywhere. It makes it a lot easier to get your book out there. Yes, Amazon has those opportunities as well, but they're using Ingram Spark, Ingram, Lightning Source to do that. So why not go directly to the source, get your books done properly, have better control over that as far as distribution and things of that nature. Again, I would like to remind you, all you have to do is type in a question and we will get to you as quickly as possible. I do have a question here. What is one of the most daunting things an author will encounter in marketing? Oh, that is not an easy question to answer. The most critical thing is when you think you're doing everything correctly and you're still not selling books. That, I think, is the most daunting aspect. You can't do every aspect of what is out there to do for marketing. Not all of it's going to work for the individual genre you're choosing or your individual book, your individual style, etc. You are going to have to do some research, and you are going to have to be able to find what works best for you. Now, with that said, you have a romance book, which is still somewhat hot out there on the marketplace. And yes, there are specific type of marketing programs designed for that can help. But with that, it's just like being on Amazon and using the Amazon advertising. Yes, you can do that. And yes, you're going to put a lot of money and effort into it, but your returns are going to be really low simply because everybody else is doing it. So you really need to look at who you are and what you've written, what special type of aspect you have to offer to help people find you, to help people want to know more about you and want to know more about your books. So there's a lot of programs out there. You will have to do research for what you think fits best for you. There will be trial and errors, but give it a try. Work with it. But also at the same time, listen to what other people are saying. Now, person A may say, hey, this was fabulous, I recommend it. Person B say, no, this really sucked. And you have to look at their campaigns. Why did you have those two different aspects? What is it about person B that made it suck? You know, not them personally, but about their campaign or about their book. What was really good for person A? What made it succeed? Okay? Look at those things. Figure out what does work and what doesn't. Stay away from companies or businesses that say, we're the next best thing. We can do it. You can be the $1 million book sale. Because chances are they're just wanting to take your money and run with it. They really don't want to give you everything. For them, it's all about who's the next person to buy into their package. So they're going to be out there and they're going to promote, hey, so-and-so did $1 million. They may not have even worked with that person. So you have to look at that. And again, $1 million sales are 1 in a million opportunities. Remember, there's over 1 million authors in the United States alone that have written books. So you're competing against that. So that percentage of that $1 million or 100,000 sales or 500,000 sales is not that typical. So keep that in mind as you're looking at these programs. I'm not saying it to distract you and to put a damper on it. I'm just being realistic here. You can do it. You have to work at it. And that's the most important thing. Don't write a book and expect it to sell. That's just not the reality. You have to do things to help promote it, to help get the word out there about it. And so you want to be able to make sure you learn how to market and sell those programs or sell the book. Now, in reference to marketing and selling, there are a lot of organizations. I've created 2 of them, TexasAuthors.com, IndieBeacon.com. There's Authors U. There's a group out of Houston. There's many new organizations that have come up in the last 8 years since we started that are focusing in on helping authors learn how to better market yourself. Look at their track record. Look at what they're accomplishing. What events, programs, opportunities have they created to help you through the process? How much is their programs? There's one program that has a monthly fee of about $45 a month. There's another one that's $20 a month. There's another one that's $200 a year. There's another one for $50 a year. You have to look at those. Are you getting the return for your money? Are they supplying you with really valid information that can help you? Or are they just trying to sell you on the next thing to get you to buy into it, saying, this is great? There is an organization out there that is free, but every email they send out pretty much says, hey, do this, and you can get this for a donation. And if you've done enough of those programs where you've clicked on and say, okay, $10 donation, $5 donation, $20 donation, whatever, in 1 year, I've calculated you would spend thousands of dollars in donations for programs that honestly don't work. So you need to look at, yeah, it's great to sign up for free, but again, are they nickel and diming you to death? Are they giving you anything for your money other than being on a website? Are they promoting you? Are they helping you learn how to market and sell yourself? There's programs out there called the Authors Marketing Event, which is an annual event that is held in Texas. And it has a weekend where you can come in and learn from the professionals how to market and sell your books. Then they put the videos out there for you to watch and learn, because they have so many sessions going on in that weekend, you're going to miss a lot of it. So being able to go back and watch the videos, not only to refresh your memory, but also then to catch sessions you've missed, those are good programs, and they're worth the investment. And they continue to grow over time. Let's see here. What's another question? Why do authors outsource to China, then to Ingram is author friendly? Okay, so most people will go to China simply because the cost of the book is very cheap to print. The problems with that is, one, you can't really confirm the quality. Yes, the PDF looks great, but when you actually physically get the book in hand, you're getting what you paid for. So on that, the quality is not always great, but you also have to order enough of them to make it worthwhile. And a lot of people just don't have that thousands of dollars sitting around to where they can order a lot of books. And most of these books are children's books, by the way. Very seldom do you have a fictional story or anything of that nature coming from China. Most of them are children's books. The other issue, while China, through the U.S. agreements, have cracked down on lead in their inks and stuff, you still run that risk. We've seen that happen with furniture companies and other types of products that come from China. They have discovered lead in their paint, which then leads to issues. And you don't want a book that has lead in the printing of the book, because if it's a children's book, you don't want to be sickening your children and stuff like that. So you need to be really careful about that. Yes, like I said, they have improved upon the quality and that, and yes, it is super cheap. But again, how many authors really have a few, $1,000 or a couple $1,000 sitting around where they can order that many books to be shipped to them to have on hand? The other issue with that is, you've ordered those books. That does not mean it's in distribution for a bookstore or for Baker Taylor or Follett or any of those people that distribute books. So that means you've got to be out there selling those books. So you kind of shot yourself in the foot with that aspect. Because if you go to Baker Taylor or Follett or any of those type of distribution things, they're going to charge you, one, a fee to get set up in the system. They're not going to necessarily carry your book, even though you've paid the fee. Then if they carry your book, you're being paid a monthly storage fee to have the books in their warehouse. And then, the distributor is like, it's not a big publishing house, so I'm not really that interested in doing it. So you still have to do a lot of legwork to get the great reviews, to get people talking about your books, to get it out there and get it picked up by those distribution channels. So there's a lot more into it than just, hey, I can order a book and pay only $2 per book and I can sell for $16. That sounds great. I've got the money, I'm gonna do it. But then when you sit down and you say, oh, then I have to add in the distribution charge, then I have to add in the monthly, then I have to add in the marketing, then I have to add in and add in and add in and add in. Well, that $2 now became $7 per book or $10 per book. Your profit has shrunk down to a point where you're making $1 a book. So again, is it really worth the investment when you can do it locally and get it through a system that automatically has it set up? Now, I'll be honest with you, Ingram is not one of the better ones that has the quality of paper for all their books. They're improving upon it, and every so often you'll see a new newsletter or notice come out from Ingram saying, hey, we are now offering this, we're offering that. One of the things Ingram doesn't offer, which I wish they did offer, was recycled paper. As authors, we use up a whole lot of paper to print our books, and it's more and more important that recycled paper is used so that we can help cut down the amount of trees that are used and help recycle and help establish a better ecosystem for what we create. Ebooks are a great advantage, and so are audiobooks for that. But again, we still have a lot of paper books that are being printed, and it would be good to have better quality recycled paper at a fair price as well. I notice a lot of companies use recycled paper, but they charge you more than they would a regular standard because they say it's higher cost, when in reality they're just trying to pocket more money into their accounts because it's a hot item and stuff. And so we have another question here. How does an author get their readers to understand the importance of pre-sale? Okay, so that's a toughie. It's a combination of both the authors educating the readers as to why to buy a pre-sale, and it's to get the readers excited enough to want to order a pre-sale. And so you have to offer the reader something really good and unique that is better than ordering through a regular channel. For example, I encourage my authors that I work with to print the first 100 copies as a limited edition print. For example, you go in, you set up your book in Ingram or wherever you do it, and it's in there. You order the first 100 copies for yourself. Then you go in and change the book in some format so that it is different from that first 100. By doing that, that first 100 now becomes that first edition copy. Okay, you'll see a lot of big 5 publishing houses do that as well, and other places. You want to be able to use that limited edition as part of your pre-order, and also for your marketing too. And by that group, I'm not talking about the ARC, the Advanced Reader's Copy. That's totally different, and that's a book that's not meant for sales. That is meant solely for reviews and marketing purposes. This first 100 print is specifically for pre-orders, specifically for gifts, specifically for donations, things that make the book more valuable. And when you get that 100, spend the time to write in there 1 of 100, 2 of 100, 3 of 100, except all the way through, so that when that person gets the book, they become more thrilled about the fact, hey, I've got book number 6, or even book number 1 of that 100 print. So that makes it more valuable, and they cherish it more. So part of that education process is to let them know, hey, you are getting a limited edition. This is specifically signed by me, autographed by me, dedicated by me to you, and it is shown that it is print 1 of 100 or whatever. Then at the same time, it's okay to offer a small discount as part of the package of a pre-order. You don't necessarily have to do it, but you can, and this encourages that freedom of money. Okay, they may say, well, I'll wait until it's on Amazon when it's cheaper. Okay, well, that's fine, but that's a regular book, and that has no value to you or to them. You really want them to see the value of pre-ordering that one book. The other aspect, too, on pre-orders is to let them know that, hey, we want to build up excitement for this book. So, through the pre-order, we can get it into a top 10 list, or our chances of getting it into a top 10 list are greater because you've pre-ordered the book, because you have a larger number of sales to report, if you're doing it right, to the different types of organizations that are out there that do top 10 sales lists. On indielector.store, we have a top 10 that we're currently doing on a monthly basis that we distribute out to libraries and to bookstores and others about the indie authors, who's hot selling and stuff like that. And as the store continues to grow and continues to have more sales on it, we'll do it more often, but right now it's monthly. But we also report the orders to the American Booksellers Association, so if there's a large enough pre-order, that may help put that person on a top 10 list for bookstores to see, which then increases your opportunity to get the bookstore more interested about you. Again, part of the marketing is making sure you get reviews, and we'll talk about that at a later time. If I don't answer any of these questions specifically, please feel free to go into our Q&A section and ask. We're here on the show for 30 minutes, and hopefully I'll get to all the questions and answer them. And there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts to these, so don't hesitate to ask questions if I haven't been clear or you want to know a little bit more about something. I'm here to help you succeed as an author, and that's why I've created my organizations. That's why I'm spending the time on the show to help you. So don't hesitate to ask questions. We have another question here. Do you feel today's technology has helped or hindered authors, social media and the like? Well, it's not just social media, but also the way books are getting done. Anybody can write a book nowadays, which is great on one level, but also bad on another. It's great because we're able to get a lot more people to write history books from different points of view, so that historians and those that love our history buffs can learn about things in different ways. It also clouds some of the quality that is in there. But for that aspect, that's great. For the aspect of being able to encourage people to write more is also great. We went from a few thousand writers that are out there to 1 million that have books out there. So it's inundated the industry and the world of books. I mean, we're looking at an average of about, I think the current average is 5 books per person. So you're looking at 5 million books out there that are published. And that's a lot of material for someone who wants to read to go through and try to find books. And so that's where marketing really comes into play, is to help people learn about your book and want to read your book and help cut through all that maze and everything. So in that respect, technology is hindered because it's put so much out there, which for self-published authors has become a hindrance because there's so much crap out there as well. And that's where, again, reviews come into play. Not just Amazon reviews, oh, I love the book and all this other stuff, but true quality reviews. You want people who are reviewing the book, who have the quality, the background to do so, but then also will help promote the book through the conversation. And of course, then those that do the Amazon reviews, we want them to be talking about your book and help promoting your book and stuff like that. And that does work. But it's the quality of the review that's the most important aspect. So yes, getting people to talk about your book is important, but the quality of the review. Again, back to the technology aspect, social media has made it that much more challenging because now there's also that much more noise out in the world. How can you break through the noise? How can you find a way to get people to notice you and to notice your books? Social media is not meant for you to go out there and say, hey, buy my book, and pound it out there. So those tweets about that type of stuff don't always work. Most of the time, they don't work. You want to use social media in a way to get people to talk about you and to talk about the book in a friendly conversation. You want people to connect with you. You want people to connect with the book. You want people to learn about the story. So you have to be wise in how you use social media and find the format that works best for you, because not all of them work best for you. So use it wisely and help break through the noise. One of the pet projects I've wanted to do was to create a social media account or platform that's specifically for authors, specifically for readers, so they can connect to each other easier and better instead of through all the other noise. There's fewer readers and fewer authors than there are people in the world. So by having their own platform, they can connect better and share their stories and share the conversation better in that respect. That's one of the long-term projects. So if anybody wants to invest in that, let me know. I'll be happy to help design something of that nature. Another question. Why should a first-time author choose the indie author route over traditional publishing? Okay, so that comes down to personal taste. We only have about 7 minutes left. Hopefully I can answer this question in that period of time. It really comes down to that personal aspect of the author. If the author wants to just only write and do nothing else, then traditional is the best route for them to go. And the reason I say that is because having a publisher being out there and paying for the cost of the book and helping market the book is better for that type of author. And that frees them up to write just the books. They don't have to market in theory. And I'll tell you right now, even with traditional hybrid or self-publishing, it doesn't matter who you have as a publisher, you're going to have to market your book. That's just reality of today. So don't think that by having a traditional publisher, you get to spend more time writing and not market. There is a certain amount of marketing you still have to do, because if your books are not selling, then you're going to lose that traditional publisher and you're going to be stuck with nothing. So you need to have a good publisher that will pay a fair fee or fair royalty to you, and also allow you to be able to purchase the books at least a 50% off retail price, so that you can turn it around and sell the books or give them away at a fair price and still make money. So look at those contracts, okay? Make sure you gain a 50% off retail price, because that's pretty much what they're giving for the distribution. So they should be able to afford giving you 50% off as well, especially if that means you're out there promoting and selling the book. Then the royalty aspect, traditional will range anywhere from 2 to 3% up to 10%. The average is about 6 to 8%. And that should be based on the retail price, not the wholesale price. If somebody says, well, you're making 70% royalty, I'm sorry, that they're full of bullshit. That's not off the retail price. That's off something that they finagled and are trying to convince you, hey, this is a great deal, when in reality you're not getting a true good deal. So watch those contracts. Again, 6 to 8% is average. You can get as high as 12, maybe 15 if you've been at it a long enough time. But again, it's how well are your books selling, and how much time and effort are the traditional publishers wanting to put into you and your books to succeed. They're looking at the long-term goal and the long-term project. If you don't have a following, if you don't have a good enough quality book or a hot topic book, and a good example of a hot topic book right now is Trump. Anything written about Trump is considered a hot topic and will sell immediately, because there's enough people who dislike him that they want to read the trash, and there's enough supporters that will also support a pro-Trump book. So you have both levels of that. So, again, a hot topic, what's your social media accounts, how many people are following you, how much conversation is there about the book itself, how good is the quality, which does come into play. So there's a lot of factors into that, and like anything else, you have to spend the time and energy to research and to find the right type of agent and or publisher to work with you, and to spend the time to get that contract, okay? Let's see, I hope that answers the questions. If I missed anything, please don't hesitate to go into the Q&A system on here, or text me a message at hashtag Indie Beacon Radio on Twitter, and we'll answer those questions. But I do have 3 minutes left, so if we didn't catch your question, please come back Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time, live on Facebook. Get on there, ask questions. We'll be glad to answer them. I think I have all the questions today. Again, thank you very much for spending time with us. For marketing, there's a lot of organizations out there, so take a look. But again, make sure you're getting your money's worth, okay? Don't listen to the high pitch, well, we helped so-and-so sell 1 million books, and we can do that for you too. They can't. That's just reality. They're offering a high-pitched sound and great opportunity and desperate need of the author. That's why they're able to continue to put that stuff out there, okay? Very few people will hit that $1 million sales. Yes, it can be done. Don't get me wrong, it can be done, but don't expect to purchase into some program thinking that they're going to be able to do it for you without you doing anything. That just isn't the reality. You're going to have to bust your ass to make it happen, okay? So you need to be willing to be doing that. Look for radio shows, look for other programs that can be of value to you. When you do have your book for sale, have it for sale on all available websites. Don't limit yourself to just one, because that means you're missing out on opportunities for people to find you and to buy your books. But when you're also promoting the book, don't just promote the one that seems like the best deal because everybody's going to them. Look to going to bookstores and promoting bookstores that are going to help promote you and are going to help put more money in your pocket. Putting it out on Amazon is great, but when there's other 5 million books or 1 million books out there, you're buried in the heap, and nobody's going to really discover you unless you pay for ads, which means you're going to spend more money, which means you're going to lose money because those ads don't always work for getting more book sales. And if you're in the KDP Select or the lending libraries, again, you're losing sales. And yeah, it's great to have people know your book's out there and to be reading it, but if you're not making money, you're not being in a position where you can spend more time to write because you're out there having to make a living with a job and things of that nature. So be wise at what you're doing and look at what you're doing. We are at the end of the show. I hope I helped you in some respect. Feel free to email me at bourgeoismedia@outlook.com or txauthors@live.com. Again, I'll put it up on the video when we do the playback and editing. But thank you for spending your time with us, and we hope you've learned something of value. Take care.